What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It's currently 3:53 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, January 21st, 2026, year of our Lord. Uh, Guys, I don't know if y'all know or not, but we got a ice storm that's coming through the area this weekend. And if you were in or around the Augusta, Georgia area in 2014, January or February 2014, then you may remember how bad that ice storm got in 2014. It was a pretty bad storm. And it knocked the power out for quite a while. All that good stuff. A lot of people lost their freezers, and a lot of damage too. Some roofs got caved in from all the ice and tree branches, and cars got tore up with tree branches. Just different things. It was a pretty bad storm, but there was a lot of fatalities too. I think Atlanta got hit pretty hard that time too. But anyways, guys, they say this storm is supposed to be worse than that. I don't know. I mean, we're about as prepared for it as we can be. In my house, we got everything we need: food, gas, blankets, lights, candles, batteries, you name it, we got it. We're not doomsday preppers, but we do keep spare supplies on hands, and ever since COVID, we learned to keep about a month's supply of food just in case the grocery stores get stupid again like they did during COVID. But anyway, uh, I'm making this video because it's funny to me. Someone called me about 45 minutes ago. A lady out of Florida. It was a property management company called me and asked me if I offer snow removal. And I've never been asked that question before, guys. I live in Augusta, Georgia. I've been in business 5 years, and I've never been asked about snow removal or salting or anything like that. This lady called me. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to call and ask you, do you offer snow removal?" I said, "Snow?" She said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Ma'am, I live in Augusta, Georgia, right outside of it." I said, "We don't get snow." She said, "You're the ninth person that has told me that. Y'all don't get snow?" I said, "No, ma'am." I said, maybe once every 2 years. And I said, "And if we do, if it accumulates, it's usually only an inch and a half to an inch and a half, 2 inches, maybe 3 inches at the most." I said, "But it might last 3.5 hours before it's all melted off." I said, "But as far as salting roads and sidewalks and everything, Columbia County takes care of all of that." I said, "We don't, nobody around here does that kind of work." She said, "Well, that's stupid." And I said, "Well, you got to talk that up with God." And she kind of laughed a little bit, and we got off the phone. And it wasn't 15 minutes later, another company called me. It's actually the maintenance contractor, not lawn maintenance, but just maintenance in general. The maintenance contractor for a dialysis company in Thompson. There's a dialysis center, this company in Thompson, Georgia, which ain't but about 25-30 minutes from me. It's just, I mean, it's actually west of me. It's not north. It's west of me. But it's close enough to me. It's considered the CSRA, and they called me and asked me if I salt sidewalks and parking lots and things like that. And I said, I don't I don't do that. I said, we, and he didn't tell me he was from Thompson. I said, I live in Evans. I said, we don't really get snow or any kind of crazy ice or anything like that. And he said, well, we're in Thompson. He said, we're supposed to have a bad storm this weekend, and I need to find somebody that can salt the sidewalks and the parking lot. He said, it's pretty easy to do. He said, all you got to do, if you got a broadcast spreader, all you got to do is put salt in the spreader and walk around the parking lot as long as you can walk around and your spreader works. I said, well, I mean, I can look up prices on salt, see what I can get rock salt for, and come up there and measure the parking lot and the sidewalk areas and everywhere you're gonna be walking, foot travel, and try to get you a quote. I said, but to be honest with you, I've never quoted salt, snow removal, anything like that, ice removal, nothing. I said, like I said, we're not really set up to do that. I said, but I do have a spreader. I said, I can get you a quote And if you like the price, I can come up there and try to do it this evening for you. And he said, well, you can't use rock salt. It's got to be that pink salt. And I said, you talking about Himalayan salt? And he said, you know, Himalayan salt, that's a different type of salt. Kind of like a sea salt type deal that you use for, like if you're on a carnivore diet, that's what you would use. And I said, no, man, I'm talking about the salt that melts ice. And I said, man, I have no clue what you're talking about. Like I said, I don't know anything about ice removal or salting or snow removal, snow plowing. I don't know nothing about none of that. I said, but like I said, I can call around, get you some prices, or get some prices and come up there and give you a quote. And if you like it, I'll do it for you. If not, you know, it is what it is. And he said, well, I need it done by noon tomorrow. And I said, I can't get it done by noon tomorrow. I said, I mean, unless you like the price tonight. And I can do it for you this evening. And he said, well, if you're going to get up here, you're going to have to get up here in about 30 minutes. And I said, yeah, that's impossible. I said, I'm a 30-minute drive from you. And I got to have time to look up prices and everything. And he said, okay. It's crazy to me, guys. It really is. And man, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a commercial property management company, whatever you are, man, if you're dealing with people, and you know, you need to try to get ahead of the ball game. You really do. And if you think that there's a possibility of snow or ice in the area, and they've been talking about this all week, guys. This ain't something that just came about today. Been talking about this all week, and now everybody's waiting till the 11th hour to try to do something about it. That's like when I went to Walmart today. You know, I wasn't even gonna go to Walmart. I was driving past it to go take care of a quote, and I noticed the parking lot was packed, and I figured I better go ahead and stop in and, you know, grab a few frozen pizzas just to make sure my freezer's topped off to keep my kids happy, you know, that kind of food. Because the last thing you want during a natural disaster is your kids driving you crazy wanting Hot Pockets, pizzas, ice cream, things like that. You don't want your kids driving you nuts because that's going to piss you off. So just went ahead and made sure we had enough stuff to keep the freezer completely full, to keep them youngins content, and to keep them out of our hair, just in case we do get an ice storm. But if you're waiting till the 11th hour to do stuff, guys, you're out of your mind. You really are. And for one, and for two, come on, guys, this is Augusta, Georgia. You can't call somebody in Augusta, Georgia, and get upset because they're not equipped to do snow removal. I mean, like I said, I told the guy I could give him a quote for rock salt, or I could call around and get a price, but he wants it done within 30 minutes, man. I can't do that. Ain't no way in hell. That's impossible for me to be able to do. Matter of fact, I'd have to dig out my spreader, man. I don't even use my spreader anymore. So, anyways, guys, are y'all getting crazy phone calls, man? Any of you guys that live in the southeast that are in the line of fire of this winter storm that's coming through, this ice storm, are y'all getting crazy phone calls? Just curious, man. But anyway, I might call a few people in Oklahoma here before long and ask them what they do to prepare for hurricanes. But look, man, hope y'all are being blessed out there till the next video. Y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. Holla at y'all. Bye.